English language. Most of the languages in the world, in fact all the languages in the world, use these two types of speaking. That is, one is the formal way of speaking and the other one is the informal way of speaking. This happens in writing also. You write in formal language and also you write in informal language. So that is why today we are going to discuss two different speech patterns in English. That is, one the formal speech and the other one informal. So today we are going to discuss when, where and how to use formal and informal speeches. You can have an informal speech here. Hey dude, hi bro, what's up my buddy, sleepy? Kind of. Shall we go grab a bite? Ooh. So this is one way of speaking. Now let's see the other one. Hello Ashok. Yes boss. What is the matter? Are you tired? Not exactly, but I spent the whole of yesterday night to finish the work. I must congratulate you for that. Thank you boss. I'm going to have my lunch. If you don't mind, you can also join me. Thank you for the invitation, sir. See, these are two different ways of speaking about the same thing. The first one is actually the informal manner in which you talk to your friend. But that is not the way you talk to your boss, of course. You cannot talk to your boss like that. So here, you can address your friend, hi dude, it's okay, you can do that. And the friend will reply to you in much more informal way, that is, hi bro, what's up my buddy? That's again an informal way of talking. But that is not the case with a formal speaking. See, hi buddy will not be used in formal speech, but instead of that you have to use hello. So if you are talking to a person like Ashok, say for example, then you have to use his or her name. Hello Ashok, hello Raji, etc. etc. So that's the way you begin your speech in formal manner. And the reply to that formal speech will also be in a formal manner. So here, hello, hey dude and hi bro will become hello Ashok and yes boss. Okay, or yes my friend, etc. What is the matter? Are you tired? What's up my buddy will become what's the matter? Sleepy is an informal way, but you have to use it in this manner, that is, are you tired, if you want to speak in a formal manner. So this is actually the two different ways. If you go through all these things, you will understand how different formal and informal speeches are. Now, let's talk about the area in which we use, or where will we use formal and informal speech. Formal speech is used in academic writings, in documents, in speeches, in reports, in business communication and in meetings. If you are having a formal meeting, if you are writing an academic piece, like you are writing your thesis or you are writing your assignment, you have to use the formal speech or the formal way of writing. Same is the case with speech also. If you are presenting a paper in a seminar, say for example, and if you are talking to a group of audience that are present in a seminar session, then you have to use the formal speech. That is it. And it is used in conferences, it is used in job interviews, and it is also used when you need to emphasize a point or convey authority. That's something which we need to explore a bit. How are you going to convey your authority when you are using a formal speech? Because when you are, say for example, when you are the boss of a company and you are talking to your subordinates, quite naturally you know that when you are a boss, you have to talk to them in such a manner that they will understand your point, and they will, in another way, they will be ready to accept your point. So there you need to show some kind of an authority because you are the boss. So that's where you use the formal speech. Okay. And when it comes to informal speech, it is used in blogs. You all write. Sometimes you may write blogs. You may write some articles in your Facebook page or Twitter handle. So that's where you use informal speech. In tweets, in advertisements, where you use the informal speech. And in casual situations, you are talking to your friend, your close friend. It's a casual situation. You can use informal speech. And when it comes to people whom you know well, then also you can use informal speech. Remember, when you are talking to your headmaster, your principal, your class in charge, or somebody who is holding a position, you have to use the formal speech. But if the same headmaster or the principal is your dad, then you can switch over to an informal speech when he or she comes to your home. So that's something you have to be careful about. And now let's move on to the ways in which you use these two different kinds of speech patterns. The formal speech combines appropriate grammar and phrases to provide credibility to what is said. That is important. So you use this appropriate grammar and phrases. That means you have to strictly follow the grammatical rules when you write or speak in a formal way. Okay. And slangs, colloquial expressions and short forms are avoided in formal speech. Whereas in informal speech, there is no need of following all the grammatical rules when you use the informal speech. And short words and sentences are also used. Say for example, was. That's a shortened form of what is there? Okay, was. That's it. Sentences are often longer and more complicated than their informal counterparts. That's important in formal speech. Sentences are often longer. You use longer sentences in formal speech and they are more complicated. You are speaking in a formal manner, so it should be in a complicated manner. That's how it goes on. You all know that when it comes to formality, you have to keep your informal way away from the audience, so that they will believe you or believe what you are actually talking to them. That's actually the thing. And when it comes to delaying expressions like well, okay, yes, this is something which you avoid in formal speaking. But in informal speech, you will use delaying expressions like well, I think it's a good idea, you know, or your recipes are kind of like my mother's. The kind of, oh, well, you know, I mean, etc. These are delaying expressions, because when you talk to somebody, you know that that is a very live kind of a business. You are talking to somebody, and then sometimes you will find it difficult to move on with the argument for a long time. So then sometimes you will you find it difficult to find out the apt word. In that condition, you will be using these delaying expressions in informal manner, but that is not used in formal speech. Even though you are talking to other people, you have to be very clear. You have to be very clear about what you want to talk to others. So that kind of a clarity is important in formal speech. That is why we avoid the usage of delaying expressions in formal speech. And when it comes to the usages, it should be more formal in formal speech. And in informal speech, you can use, or you may use, everyday phrases like, you know, here you go, what do you mean, what say, etc. These are some of the informal phrases or everyday phrases that you use in informal speech. There are two different types of letters that you all know, like the formal one and the informal one. Maybe you are very familiar with writing a letter to your friend. I don't know whether you are familiar with it, because you have all these gadgets like the mobile phones, the Twitter handles and all those things. So you may not be writing letters, but you know that there are two different types. One is the formal one, the other one is the informal one. You won't be writing a letter in the manner, or you won't be writing a letter like a letter that you write to your friend when it is about a job interview or a job application or something like that. If you want to write a letter to your boss, if you want to write a letter to your principal, you won't be using the same language that you use in an informal letter that you write to a friend. You won't be addressing the principal, hi bro, no, you won't do that. You will write, respected sir, or dear sir. That's the difference between formal letter and informal letter. So the formal letter should begin with dear sir or dear madam. Okay, that's it. And whereas the informal letter, you can begin it with hi. Okay, so that's it. I am writing to inform you. So the first sentence should be like this. I am writing to inform you. That gives the audience, that gives the formal letter its character. Okay, but in informal letter, just wanted to let you know. I just wanted to let you know, my friend, that this happened yesterday. So that's it. That's a very informal way of talking. And at the end of the formal letter, you will be using this particular sentence. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Whereas in the informal letter, it's like, hope you Hope to hear from you soon. Please do not hesitate to contact me. Please feel free to contact me. These kinds of sentences that you use in formal letter, so that the person whom you addresses will get an idea that you are open for any kind of queries in the future. So that's the use of these sentences. Whereas in informal letter, you know and your friend knows it very well that you can be contacted at any time, just a rings away. So he will be like, you will be writing like this. You can call me if you need anything. That's it. And a formal letter will end with yours sincerely, yours faithfully, etc. Whereas an informal letter just regards, love, etc. Okay, so this is the way in which you write formal and informal letter. These are two examples of formal and informal letter. You can read the first one, that is formal. It begins with the salutation, "Dear Nikhil. This is to inform you that your book has been rejected by your publishing company as it was not up to the required standard. In case you would like us to reconsider it, we would suggest that you go over it and make some necessary changes. Yours sincerely," and the signature. And the same idea when this particular person called Nikhil, when he writes to his friend Ravi about the rejection of his book, the same idea will be presented in a different way. That is here. "Hi Ravi, you know that book I wrote? Well, the publishing company rejected it. They thought it was awful. But hey, I did the best I could and I think it was great. I'm not going to redo it the way they said I should. Love, Nikhil." So these are the two different forms of formal and informal speech and writing that we use in English language. Okay? Thank you.